Bali comes to us today as beautiful as she was on the day that Egon Schiele captured her in brushstrokes and color nearly a century ago. She has experienced so much and has so much to tell.
We heard about the allegations of the ownership of the Schiele paintings, and it was the 11th hour, and they were about to return to Austria, and we kind of threw a Hail Mary pass. We issued a grand jury subpoena, hoping that we could develop the evidence to support that case. But if we hadn't issued it, painting would have gone back, and we would never have had a chance to ascertain the true ownership.
We wouldn't be sitting here talking about art restitution in 2010 the way we do if we wouldn't have had Wally. And I can't think of any other case that you know, had this effect, had this significance. I think it is the case out of all art restitution cases that I can think of that really shaped the discussion for the following years.
These are vestiges of a people's history, of a family's history. And it is terribly important, I think, that be honored. There should be a rush to judgment on these cases.
On behalf of the Museum of Modern Art, it is my great pleasure to welcome you this evening to this wonderful celebration for the opening of Egon Schiele, the Leopold Collection, Vienna.
There's an immediacy to Schiele. I mean, that's what's exciting about the artist. You know, you look at a Schiele today and you don't feel that he's talking from another generation.
Schiele was sort of a star. And these young kids would follow him around the way they would follow around an appealing creative character.
So, well, what's ironic about Klimt and Schiele and their incorporation into the Austrian cultural canon is that back in their day, they were considered pornographers and outsiders of society.
He has this reputation in today's world because the salaciousness of it makes it exciting for the media. Television shows, movies, auction houses, dealers, they love to play on this. It excites the imagination of the person viewing. I think he was a pretty normal 20-year-old guy who had an eye for pretty girls, and they were freely available, and he had his way.
I don't think there is any modern master whose prices have increased as exponentially as did Schiele's between 1941, when we had the first Schiele show at the Galerie Saint-Étienne, and the present moment. It is an order of magnitude that is literally incomparable.
And it was amazing because you walked in and you could see that this was an obsessive collector. Most collectors are addicts. This one appeared to be an obsessive collector because of the nature and the extent of the collection of Schiele that he had put together.
It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm proud and happy that my collection will be seen in the most famous modern art museum of the world.
beautifully done, actually. I remember the lights being very low and had a very large crowd, and there was kind of a buzz, and I was talking with a lot of people, and people were talking about Leopold because he was such an obsessive collector, and because he had done some things that people were naturally gossiping about, including the way he treated a lot of his paintings. He was known for retouching some of Schiele's works, for doing pretty extensive conservation of his own, even though he wasn't a curator. So it was very exciting. And at one point, I was talking with several people. Just one person said to me, oh, and there's, besides all this other stuff going on, there's a Nazi connection as well.
I ran into Judy, and I said to her, I think I might have a story for you about this show. And that was the beginning of events that I think none of us ever in our wildest dreams could have anticipated at that moment.